After you've done the tear out and got the drain location where you want it, you want to install blocking between all the studs. Then you make the curb with 3 2x4s stacked on top of each other. And then you'll cut a piece of cement board to fit in the bottom. And you get your drain flange prepped. You want to make sure it's level. And then I'll temporarily put some screws in to make some reference marks. You can glue the flange on now only if you've got a removable trap underneath. If the trap isn't removable, you need to wait to glue it. Then I put some spacers under there because I want the flange raised up a 1/2 inch off the lower floor. And I'm going to temporarily put screws in. And make sure it's level. You want to keep checking your level throughout all the process. And I'm going to make some reference marks on the wall. I get my cement board ready. When you get it wet, the bond will be a lot better. And I put a coat of thinset on the floor, and then set the cement board in. This is the point you'll want to make sure that your finished surface is level. It'll be easier to have your pre-slope in. I'm going to reinstall my spacers. And you'll cut 8 strips of 1/2 inch cement board. These are going to be the guides that I use for the back side of my pre-slope. The slope will be a 1/2 inch over 18 inches. And I laid in some lath mesh. You'll always want to wet the surfaces first. The bond will be stronger. Use a straight edge of the trowel for the slope around the perimeter down into the drain. And then just make sure you get all the ripples out. Any little dips, put in a little mud. The mix ratio on this layer was 4 parts sand to 1 part cement. Then I'll double check my slope. Then you'll want to go ahead and lay in your moisture barrier. Get all the wrinkles out. Push it flush up against the corner. And then staple it at the top. You don't want to have any perforations below the height of your curb. On the curb, you press it into the corner and then draw a line right in the corner, and you can make a cut right along the pencil line. Make sure through this whole process that you get all the wrinkles out of the floor. You want to locate the drain. Then make 8 cuts from the edge of the hole into the middle of the hole. Then you locate the screw holes and mark those. And very carefully you want to cut out little circles that are no bigger than the bolts. You want to add a good layer of silicone underneath on the top of the flange. Then put the lock ring on top. And then snug it down. Then you can put your drain top in. This is your guide for the height of your mortar. And since you have a pre-slope in, I'm just going to go 1.5 inches on this height, which will match the wall depth, and it'll just follow the same slope as my pre-slope. Then you make sure you squeeze out all the silicone to get it flat. This strip is 1.5 inches thick. This is going to be the height of my mortar here. Just mark it all the way around. And then install the corner dams, each of the top edges of the curb. Make sure you use the Odie X15 glue on the corner dams. Then you're going to install some gravel around the edge of your flange. This is to protect the edge of the weep hole from mortar. And press it up tight against there so you got a little good layer covering it. And carefully put the mortar on top of it. You don't want the mortar to mix with the gravel. This mortar mix has a ratio of 1 part cement to 5 parts of sand. It needs to be very dry. It should pack together in a ball but crumble apart. And then you want to pack it up tight against the edge, following the line that you marked. And then check your level. And if you need to, you can tap it down. And then just trowel it with a straight edge from the wall down to the drain and make sure it's smooth all the way around. And raise the drain and pack up some mortar right around the drain. And then check your tile height and raise or lower that to match the thickness of your tile plus the thinset. You should be able to adjust this after it hardens, but it's always better to make your adjustments while the mortar's still wet. Then you just let it set overnight and then you're ready for your tile. I've also posted some job notes in the description about this project.